Hey you guys, how you doing? My name is Ian. I go by the name Ian K. as a musical artist. You may have heard of me, you may not have heard of me. I'm not surprised either way. I'm here to talk to you today about my new Hughes and Kettner Black Spirit 200 floor. So, the Hughes and Kettner Black Spirit 200 floor, for me, it's a new amp. I've been using it as I'm taping this. This is January 2023. I've been using this amp now for about 6 months. I started in August of 2022. I've used it live a whole bunch of times. To be honest with you, prior to my using this amp, I was using a Blackstar ID60. Really loved the sound of that amp and whatnot. But I had a number of things going on in my sort of professional career or whatever that I felt necessitated me making a change. And it wasn't really about the sound or anything like that. One of the things that was important to me as a guitar player, I play in a number of bands. One of them is a tribute band, and we travel all over the place. And very often we do it by flying there, by plane. I get to rely on my sound, probably like a lot of you guys do. And I wanted to be able to have a sound that I could take with me and trust it anywhere and be familiar with it and understand how my guitar is going to respond and all that kind of stuff. So I picked this thing up because of the size of it. I think it weighs in at 8 pounds or something like that. It's small enough that in the bag I can wrap it up as a carry-on or whatever. I'm going to have a little bit later to show you how the thing packs up and whatnot. It's been really good though. What I ended up doing is I bought a big long power cord for the thing so that I could power it off stage if I need to and leave the thing in the center of the stage. However, knowing what I know now, I probably could get by with a 6-foot cord because I usually have my, well, not usually, always, I have my guitar wireless in front of me too, so I need a power source for that as well. So having both things plugged into the same socket at the very front of the stage works just fine. Then what I do is I take a 50-foot speaker cord and I run it from the amp all the way around the stage, and I run it to my 412 or my 112 or whatever it is I'm using. And typically I ask a sound guy to do my guitar miking via the red box, and I have that set up as a Marshall British 412 speaker IR, I guess it is. It comes loaded with 8 IRs. I'm not one of those guys that needs to have a different cabinet for every sound. In fact, I only use 3 sounds on this thing now. I've got a clean sound, I've got a rhythm sound, and I've got a lead sound, and that's really all that I use. So I don't need to change my cabinets every time I change one of them or anything. I just, for me, that's just not sensible. It's never been like that. I've been playing guitar for 45 years now or whatever. Never been able to do it in real life, so why do I want to do it? Why do I want to do it, virtually or whatever? So I don't do that. Now, the one thing that I like about this unit more than anything is that it sits there on the floor in front of me. That may or may not be for everybody. In my case, I think it works out really good. I'm used to having a hidden cabinet behind me and whatnot, and I'd have the wireless, usually up on top of my head. And that'll work fine generally or whatever. But to be honest with you, what I was finding was that there was different locations where I would go and play, and for whatever reason, my wireless decided it was going to crap out. And I don't know if it was going to be the battery, if there was too much radio interference, or whatever the heck it was that was going on in the air that made it crap out. And then I've got this wireless sitting up on top of my cabinet behind me, and I can't see it, and I can't do anything about it, right? And so what this does is it puts everything in front of me. I'll show you a picture in a bit, how I set it up. I've got, the unit in front of me. I've got my tuner goes into it, and I've got my wireless receiver, I guess, goes into that. And I can see everything. If the battery's dying, I can see it. If it's connecting, I can see it. Everything works perfectly for me. So another reason that it's important for me to have this amp in front of me and not behind me is, I play in several bands, and among the bands that I play in, one of them is a Kiss tribute band. We do the full glitz makeup and everything, and so I'm wearing the 7-inch heels. And I can tell you, if you have a cable on the stage and you take your 7-inch heels and you step on one of those cables, you're going to bust your ankle, or you're going to fall on your ass or something like that, and you're going to end up looking pretty ridiculous. And I don't need any help doing that. So what has happened in the past, I've had the wireless problem like I was describing earlier. All of a sudden I think, oh, okay, well, I just need to run a cable from my guitar to there. Well, now I've got this cable behind me and I can't see if I'm stepping on it or not stepping on it. And by having the unit in front of me, I can see where the cable goes. It's never going to be a problem, and I can use it all the time safely without falling down. The other thing that I wanted to be able to do here was have a sound. I think I touched on it earlier, but I wanted to have a sound that I could take with me wherever I went, and it didn't matter. I knew I could trust it all the time. Previously, when using the Blackstar rig that I had, I it's okay to take it in, you know, a van or something like that. By and large, I couldn't really take it on a plane. At one point, what I was doing was taking the guts out of the amp, wrapping it in MDF with tape and whatnot, sticking it in my suitcase, and I could carry it, you know, as part of my luggage or whatever. But that was, you know, really kind of impractical. I had to bring a MIDI controller with me and all that stuff too. And, you know, it's more cables to hook up, and it's, you know, more opportunity for my amp to get broken and that kind of thing. And so I thought, well, this is just another easy way for me to be able to take my sound with me anywhere. I can take it on a plane anywhere. I can carry it as a carry-on. It works great. And so far, so good with that. I got to say I'm really impressed with it. Prior to purchasing this, I live in Canada, and here the big store is called Long McQuaid's. I guess it would be sort of the equivalent to the Guitar Center in the United States. And anyway, you know, every time I had to fly to a show, I'd be looking for a solution that I could take sound with me and whatnot. You know, I had seen this thing sitting on the wall. It's not like I hadn't known anything about it, but to be honest with you, I had tried using Kettner amps, you know, 20 or 25 years ago, and they just didn't do it for me, you know, and that's really all there was to it. At the end of the day, I went into Long McQuaid's. I tried to play, you know, on a Pod Go, and these Helix things, they look like they're gigantic and enormous. I don't think that they're super friendly to fly with, probably. There's the Axe Effects, I think it's called an AX8. That would have been something that I may have been interested in, but it just wasn't readily available. You know, Kemper, I think, makes a product, or Quad Core or whatever, all this stuff. This was the one that was on the wall in front of me. I had tried a couple of other things. I just didn't love the sound of them. I didn't love the feel of them. I'm not really getting into the whole tube modular solid state debate or anything like that. That's not what this is about, but for me, they weren't really working. This thing here actually didn't work for me super awesome either until I took some time to figure it out. And I'll tell you some of the problems that I've had. So I'm going to show you an audible example of this, but you'll see on the back panel, we've got the little switch here, and it's for full range cab or guitar cab, right? So right now, I have it on guitar cab. It's easy enough to switch over to full range cab. So one of the problems that can occur, and has occurred with me, is that, you know, I'll have this thing set up, I'll do a sound check, I'll get the sound that I want and whatnot, and then maybe some stagehand comes along and has to move things, and a chord hits it, and it flips it over to the side. I'll show you an example a little bit later of what the differences are in those sounds, but it does make a significant difference in the sounds. And, you know, if you're brand new with the unit and you don't know what the hell has happened here, that's probably what's happened. So I would urge you to be aware of it, and you know, as long as you can stay on top of it, flip it back over to guitar, you're not going to have any problems. You know, make sure it's like that just before you start your set or whatever, and you're going to have an awesome sound. Another thing you'll see down here is this boost knob, and this lights up. They've got the boost button over here, yeah, over here on the end. And what that does is, you know, on your different channels, it boosts different frequencies for you and whatnot. And that'll be indicated by this light coming on, and so you know that your boost is on. You know, I tend to, you know, put it on and leave it on, whatever, so, you know, I don't care too much about that. But it serves a secondary function. That is, you press and hold it, and it gets you into your capability to connect to an iPad or whatever, where you will have there's an app that's available that you can download for your iPad and for your Android, and you can connect this thing, and you can, you know, make all your adjustments on there. If you can get it to work, it's pretty good. It can be kind of a pain in the ass to make it work, but you know, if you're tenacious and you stick with it and you don't mind resetting things a couple of times until it finally sticks, then you can get it to work, and it works pretty good. I like it because that way I can sort of instantly compare my volumes more easily between channels. So you can see this thing looks very much like the Black Spirit 200 head. You know, and they've got that foot switch. I don't know the number of it, but it comes with it anyways. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 knobs on it. On the side here, you'll see that there's this little selector switch, and it goes from presets to what's it say there? Stomp box to direct 7. Now I tend to play this in stomp box mode, but if you choose preset mode, then what happens is you've got 128 presets that you can store, you know, maybe 128 songs. 1, 2, 3, 4. You go up and down with these switches over here to go to your next bank of 4. You know, 5, 6, 7, 8, up and down. 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on. Way too cumbersome for me or whatever. I'm an old school guitar player. I like to have a clean channel, a dirty channel, and a lead channel. So I use it in stomp box mode, which gives you clean, crunch, lead, and ultra. Ultra, I guess they say it's maybe more for metal guys or whatever. From what I've been reading, metal guys aren't super fond of this amp for their metal tones or whatever. You know, for the stuff that I'm doing, I think it works great. And I don't even use the ultra channel anyways. I use the clean tone for the very few times that I do play clean. I've got, you know, crunch that I'm using as my main rhythm tone now, and I've got lead, and I'm very happy with that. That's in stomp box mode. There's also what they call a direct 7 mode, and you know, this would be a setting, this would be a setting, this would be a setting, this would be a setting. It's basically like 7 channels is what it boils down to. And you know, you could make whatever changes you wanted to. Maybe some of them have a little bit of delay, some of them don't, some of them have reverb, some of them don't, different gain settings, one's clean, you know, that kind of thing, right? So it's pretty versatile. So here's my guitar plugged into the Hughes and Kettner Black Spirit 200, and I'm running it through this Black Star 112 cabinet, as you have been hearing. If for some reason you move your pedal around, or a sound guy, a stagehand moves the pedal around, and they flip it from the guitar cab setting, which I have it on now, to the full range cab setting, which I now have it on, you'll hear a very apparent difference. Here's how I'm running this setup currently. I've got the main controller board here on the floor in front of me pretty much all times, you know, like right beside the mic stand kind of thing. I got my tuner and I got my wireless. I have all this stuff in front of me. I can see if I'm having even problems with my wireless or anything like that. And so far it's proven to be pretty beneficial for me. So I was using this rig. I guess I started using it in August of 22, around the midway through August or something like that. It didn't take very many gigs before I began to realize that you've got these feet here, you know, that are supposed to be rubber. A lot of you guys may not care about this, but you know, if you're the kind of guy who's only playing at home, or maybe you got a hardwood floor or something like that, I'll try and show you what happens there. But you can see that the rubber is busted right away from this. And to be honest with you guys, if I was using this at my house, I'd be a little bit worried about putting it on the floor, so I'd always have a towel under it or something like that. I think what I'm going to do is go to Walmart, pick up some rubber feet for it, and you know, something that'll make it just a little bit higher, and that should work out fine for me. But that is a bit of a weakness in this thing. Other than that, this unit's pretty awesome. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I purchased separately. I bought the carrying case that goes along with it. You can see it fits in there quite nicely. It's pretty tight. It's got this Velcro strap, presumably to help it from moving around or whatever. I don't know if it actually makes a difference or not. However, when I picked it up, or when I bought it, I bought this also this long power cable with it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I think, to be honest with you, based on my experiences now, I probably, because I have my wireless and everything that I plug in at the front of the stage anyhow, I probably could get away with just running with like a 6-foot cable. That's fine. Anyway, we close it up, we zip it up. It's got this pouch here in which I'm carrying my 50-foot speaker cable. I've got my G50. Stick that in there. I usually just stick it in the coil. And I've got my little cord tuner here, and I stick that. You'll see I keep these little cables on the side of it too. I just stick that up here in the corner like so. I've got the power supply for my G50 that I can fit in here as well. This whole thing will do right up, and presto, I can now carry that right onto a plane if I need to. So those are the reasons that I love, and some of the things that I'm not crazy about the Hughes and Kettner Black Spirit 200 floor. I think this thing is awesome. I hope that some of the stuff I've shown you here is able to help you guys out a little bit. There's lots of stuff available on the web about, you know, how to get the sounds out of it and stuff like that, so that's not what I'm here to do. But I did want to show you the features and some of the problems and glitches you can run into. I hope it's been helpful. If you found it helpful, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. You know what to do. And I hope to see you guys again soon, man. Take care. Thanks. I tried my best to find